In the course of divorce, there are a number of forms that have to be exchanged with the opposing side, that's with your spouse, and many times you have to also submit certain documents to the court. Now, there's not a lot of documents. They probably number, I would say maybe about half a dozen in most cases, if you have children particularly. But the problem is people don't tend to believe quite often that you really do have to produce these forms. They think they're busy work, or they think, well, if I ignore them enough, eventually people will stop bothering me for them and I won't have to produce them. And that's simply not true. There are certain forms that unless you fill them out and file them with the court and they are complete and accurate, you can't even get a divorce in the first place. There are other forms where if you don't fill them out accurately and completely and you get caught having misrepresented what's supposed to be in those forms, you can be severely penalized. You can even have default judgment entered against you. In other videos, I've talked about a financial declaration form where if you conceal assets from your spouse and or the court by not putting them down and listing them in your financial declaration, those assets can be awarded to your spouse as a penalty. There are also things known as initial disclosures, where you have to identify who knows any information helpful to your case, and specifically any of the people you may, not will, but possibly may call as witnesses. If you don't identify these people and then go to trial and try to call a witness that wasn't identified, you won't be allowed to call that witness. So these are forms that are very important, and you may not fully understand their significance, but your attorney really isn't going to be there to explain them all, or at least explain them as much as you may desire, unless you ask. So here, we're telling you right now, don't bother asking and use that as an excuse, saying, well, I never asked and I never got it fully explained, so I don't have to produce the forms. That won't wash. Nobody will say, nobody told me this was important. You have to do it. Now, I'm telling you they're important, so be aware of that now. But just bear in mind, if you have questions about the forms, ask your lawyer. Your lawyer and his or her staff will be thrilled that you're taking an interest in doing this and trying to get them done, and done on time. A lot of these forms have to be completed by a certain date, or you're out of luck, or the court can sanction you for that. But make sure that you complete everything. Make sure that you fill out everything that needs to be filled out. Fill it out completely, accurately, and on time. Your lawyer will thank you. The court will thank you. Your ex-spouse may even actually treat you better because there's more credibility. And on top of that, you've avoided sanctions and given yourself the best opportunity to prevail by ensuring that the court has all the information it needs to make a knowledgeable and fair resolution of your case.